Hold on, did Rihanna stop being friends with Lauren London after finding out that Lauren was aware of the freak-offs Diddy was forcing Cassie to participate in? Woo child, this Diddy trial just keeps digging deeper and deeper, and it looks like Lauren London is not as innocent as folks thought. In fact, new evidence coming out suggests that she might have collaborated with Diddy to take out Nipsey Hussle. It turns out that back in the day when Lauren was parading around with Cassie and claiming to be her friend, she was actually being paid by Diddy to keep an eye out on Cassie and report back to him. People were already skeptical about Lauren because of her forcing Nipsey to associate with Diddy, so this new info was the final nail in the coffin for her. The worst part is she almost tricked Rihanna into a freak-off too, but Rihanna wasn't having any of it and cut her off immediately. Rihanna already knew what it was like to be forced to indulge in explicit acts at a young age with industry men because of her alleged affair with Jay when she was just 17. So she took this personal and went off on Lauren. People started dragging Lauren into this entire mess when rumors started circulating around that she set Nipsey up to be unalived by Diddy. Nipsey was an independent artist, owned all his masters, and as we all know, industry executives like Diddy saw that as a threat and started plotting on how to get rid of him. And this is where Lauren comes in, because according to an interview that Nipsey did at the Breakfast Club, he actually didn't know Diddy that well until Lauren introduced them. Lauren and Diddy had already been very close for decades at this point, so she knew exactly the kind of man Diddy was, but she still pushed Nipsey into Diddy's circle regardless. And people believe it's because she and Diddy were working together.
Nip ain't know what type of monster he was.
Lauren?
No, I'm saying Lauren introduced me to Puff.
Oh, got you.
I mean, I knew Puff, but it was more of a personal relationship after, we was at Cassie's birthday.
Nipsey was just 33 when he died, and according to reports, he was fired at 11 times across his head and torso. Eric R. Holder Jr. is currently serving a 60 years to life sentence for this, but people believe he was just a pawn used by Diddy to orchestrate this, and he decided to take the fall for it. And this actually checks out because Diddy is notorious for making other people do his dirty work and then naming them to take the fall for it. Now, for Diddy to pull this off, he needed someone who was very close to Nipsey but also loyal to him to be the middle person between them, to give him details about what Nipsey was getting up to. And according to Jaguar Wright, Lauren was that link.
Hook up with the biggest rapper at the time. Everything's great. By the way, isn't she? Lauren is the one that introduced Nip to Diddy. Diddy couldn't even get to Nip, even though he had ties in L.A. It was Lauren that brought Nip to him.
Things got even worse when this interview of Lauren revealing that just days before Nipsey died, she went to a death seminar to learn how to grieve. People couldn't help but bring up just how similar this whole thing was to Diddy buying a coffin, even before Kim died. And when she did, she was buried in that same coffin that he had bought weeks prior.
Okay, you have to tell me. You're just telling me this now.
I know, yeah.
Please share.
Why? I have a friend.
Why were you there? And what did you learn?
I learned that no one really dies, and that, it's just an experience in the physical form, and we're attached to our personalities, but that we're just souls, and that we continue and continue and continue. And if you have a spiritual relationship with someone on earth, you will have one with them when you leave earth. So I did this 2-day seminar on death. So.
And this was how long ago?
I had to be 25.
What sent you there? Do you find that weird though?
I'm weird.
No, it's not weird that you would go. It's almost like you were preparing yourself for what you would have to deal with.
Well, I told you I didn't have connection to Earth. at a young age.
I know, but you don't find that as like you were preparing yourself for what you were going to have to deal with.
But that we're all going to have to deal with.
Now, if y'all remember, Nipsey said Lauren was the one who made him get close to Diddy. In fact, by the time Nipsey died, Diddy had even executive produced his last album, Victory Lap, the same album that everyone and their mama were buying and streaming when Nipsey died.
Nip had no ego. So, you know what I'm saying? Like Nip came to me and said, I want you to mentor me. You know, I want to get into real estate. I want you to teach me all your, you know what I mean, like your business secrets. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whenever you got questions, pull up. And then on his last album, people do not know this. Somebody tried to jerk me, but I fixed it. I actually am one of the executive producers of Nipsey Hussle's last album.
Victory Lap.
Yeah, Victory.
According to Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, Nipsey came to Diddy to ask him to help him make Victory Lap have the same feel as Biggie's Life After Death album. Mind you, Life After Death was released after Biggie died, so there was a lot of spiritual stuff tied to that album, and the fact that Nipsey wanted to recreate the feeling of it meant Diddy would have to dabble into some dark things to make that happen, and people believe the cost of it was Nipsey's life.
You taking a spiritual person who's asking for something. He said, I wanted that same feel as life after death. That same feel was that Biggie got and he went on to sell about 10 million albums or 10 million copies. I was saying, you gotta watch what you say to demons, because it just might come true.
But it gets even crazier. It turns out that not only did Lauren introduce Nipsey to Diddy, but she knew about what Diddy was doing to Cassie and watched it happen without lifting a finger to stop him. In fact, word on the street is she was taking advantage of her friendship with Cassie to get information out of her and report back to Diddy. The details of Lauren's involvement on what Cassie was going through was brought up in court by Diddy's former personal assistant, Capricorn Clark. Now, for those of y'all who don't know about Capricorn, she worked for Diddy as his personal assistant from 2004 all the way to 2020. And she claims that she used to sometimes work 20 hours a day, which led to her developing hair loss and a stress condition. Now, the reason she was called to the stand was because she was there the night Diddy went to Kid Cudi's house after finding out Cudi was messing around with Cassie. Capricorn was in charge of setting up hotel rooms, which Diddy typically stayed in, with Kim Porter once a week. Not only that, but as part of her job, she was to set up the hotel rooms with supplies including a camera, bottles of baby oil, lube, and drugs such as She also testified that Diddy would book weekly hotel rooms for himself and Cassie, where they would use IV drips for several days to help them recover from use. She eventually quit her job in 2006 after a DV incident with Diddy, but later returned to come work for Cassie. During her time with Cassie, she found out that Cassie and Cudi were messing around. Apparently, Cassie told her about the affair via text, which she thought was a bad idea because Diddy was the one who bought both of their phones. Because of this, she took Cassie to Best Buy to get a new phone. Diddy still found out about Cassie and Cudi's affair, and the first thing he did after confronting Cassie was break into Capricorn's house and interrogate her in the middle of the night because he was convinced she knew about it and didn't tell him. He demanded for her to get dressed so they could go all the way to Cudi's house together. When they got there, Diddy and his bodyguard left her in the car to go into the house, and while she was there alone, she called Cassie on her burner phone to warn her. But when Diddy came back, he snatched her phone and called the last number she spoke to. He took my phone and called the last number. Then I saw Cudi driving up. Mr. Combs saw my face and said, "There's that guy right there." We drove off and saw police driving the other way towards Cudi's house. Now this is where things get interesting because Capricorn revealed that when Diddy Diddy came to her house and demanded for her to get dressed so they could go to Cuddy's house. She called Lauren to make her know what was going on because she considered Lauren as a sister at the time. Lauren London was like my sister at the time, and I just wanted somebody to know where I was in case this all went really bad. But it doesn't end there. It turns out Capricorn was also besties with Rihanna at the time, and she told Rihanna everything that was happening between Diddy and Cassie and how Lauren didn't lift a finger to help even though she was in the position to do so. In fact, during Capricorn's testimony, the defense brought up a photo of Rihanna and Capricorn on vacation together. Apparently, Diddy fired Capricorn while she was on this trip with Rihanna. So by the time she came back, she didn't have a job anymore. Around this same time, Rihanna was also friends with Lauren, so she was very disappointed to find out that she was aware of what Diddy was doing and still didn't do anything to stop it. In fact, Rihanna was one of the people who sent their condolences to Lauren when Nipsey died, but word on the street is she did that because she was genuinely sad about Nipsey's death, not because she saw Lauren as a friend anymore. Lauren knows way more than she's been letting out, and people are beginning to piece everything together. If she's really involved, it's not going to be long before people get the full story and demand for justice. As usual, people had their own thoughts, like this person who said, "It's honestly wild how much is coming out about Diddy lately. The control, the manipulation, how everything feels so rehearsed, it's creepy." Another person said, "I was wondering why Riri was not or hasn't put out any music. I know she is having her babies, but still, now I know. To think she stopped singing to get away from it, so sad. Hands up to you, Rihanna." But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Rihanna and Lauren's friendship getting exposed? And do y'all think all of this mess is part of why Rihanna left the music industry? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.